everyone, and welcome to my channel, Rayne Yoga. I'm Bailey Rayne, and today I wanted to touch on Yogic Diet and what that might look like in the yogic terms, what it might look like for you, and what it looks like for me. So with that, let's go ahead and begin. So what is Yogic Diet? When you go through yoga teacher training, you actually touch on this a little bit for the 200 hour, and that is Ayurveda. So Ayurveda is a way of eating that I'm not going to go too deep into it because I don't fully know all the details, but you follow your dosha on how you eat. So whether that's Vita, I'm getting them all wrong. So if you look up your dosha, it will tell you, what categories you fall under and what eating habits are best for your dosha. And you line those up together, and that's technically the best yogic eating diet for your body. But that goes really deep and really far into detail. Most people assume yogic diet is vegan, number one, or plant-based. And I will say, I have done both. So I have been full-time vegan for several months to a year. I've come back to just being plant-based, and then sometimes I go back to being vegan, and sometimes I go back to being plant-based. The biggest thing is that I have to say, most advice I can give you is to listen to your body. Do what is best for you and what your body is asking for, craving, needing. Because in any point in your yoga practice, yoga journey, when you take class and you do yoga, you're constantly tuning in and listening to your body, or you should be. Whether that's also in meditation, you should be tuning in to your consciousness, your being, not the mind, not the ego, deep, the I am. And same with breath work. You should be working on your breath, listening to your body, seeing how you feel. And that is exactly how yogic diet works, in my opinion, is you should be, yes, you can go really far into it and follow the Ayurveda, your doshas, and go really deep with it. And I hear amazing stories about eating like that, and I would like to do more research and talk about it with you guys more. Man, I am super tongue-tied today. I'm very sorry. I thought I was ready for this, but apparently this is not connecting. But it goes to show that mindful eating is what's important. So if you're not plant-based and you eat meat, being mindful, right? Being mindful of how much you're consuming, where it's coming from. If your body is asking for it, then eat it. Listen to if it's a need or a want. And were you raised on it and you just think you need it? Or is it a deep want that your body is asking for it, craving for it, needs that specific form of protein? Or are you fine with just a strict vegan diet? And that is what your body calls to. I know personally when I ate vegan, my skin cleared up a lot. It was the best I felt just energetically. I feel the best my body looked was when I was strictly vegan. And being plant-based, I kind of just feel like it's a stabilizer, for those moments that you maybe crave eggs, or you have some dairy in something that you eat. So just listening to your body and doing what's right for you, that is really what's important in all aspects of life. It's listening to you. Don't feel peer pressured by your family that is like, oh, you don't eat meat. Or don't feel peer pressured by the spiritual community and the yogic people. Oh, you eat meat. It's a personal preference. And you can ask yourself the deep questions as to why. Why do I choose to eat this or this? Why do I choose to eat processed or not? Do your own research, and your own morals and your own insights will tell you what is right and what is wrong for your body. So going into this, I was raised eating meat, and over time I convinced my mom to stop buying red meat. So we went to that ground turkey and the chicken, and that was pretty much it, some seafood. And then I was like that probably from the end of high school through, I want to say, I'm probably going to butcher my years because it was a while. Not too long of a while, but a little while. So 2011 to maybe 12, 13, 14. Yeah, probably maybe 2014, if that long. And then one day I was like, I don't need the meat. Like, I don't feel like I need it. It was when I was starting into yoga and going all the time and met a lot of yoga people and listening to how they eat. And I have always been an animal lover. I don't agree with any form of harm on any animal. And when I met these people and they were talking about being vegan and stuff, of course, everyone has their extremes, right? They go extreme. And I'm like, well, I'll just do my own research. So I watched documentaries, I read articles, listened to YouTube videos, and came to my own conclusion that I morally had no want to eat meat anymore. And I also wasn't craving it or needing it in my life either. I was already transitioning away, so I bit the bullet. And when I went from eating a little bit of meat to going completely vegan, so no more dairy. I already just don't eat much eggs anyway, so that was no shift for me, unless it's in a baked meal or something like that. So then I went strictly vegan, and that was when I noticed such a change in my body and how I feel and my skin and everything. And I highly recommend just trying even 1 month. If you are a hardcore meat eater, just try it 1 month, because you'd be surprised. Just like your overall well-being by the end of the month, if you stick to it and you don't cheat. But for me personally, I fluctuate back and forth between plant-based and vegan. I feel sometimes my body is craving the cheese for calcium. Not that you can't get calcium in other ways. You definitely can. You can get the processed vegan cheeses. I believe they have calcium in them too. But sometimes I just crave like a real cheese, and I don't add cheese to anything I cook. It'll just be when I have that craving, I'll literally have a slice of cheese or a little cheese wrap that I'll make. It probably sounds really weird, but it's like that's just what I'm eating at that moment. I don't want it added to my food, so I don't put cheese on top of any of my meals, no matter what. So speaking to that, I do want to throw my husband into the mix here, because obviously I cook for both of us, and he grew up eating, steaks, and he goes spearfishing and catches his own lobster, his own fish, all this stuff. And in the beginning I did too, and I think if you're gonna buy any fish or get any fish into your body, that getting it yourself is the best way to do it. You know exactly what it looks like, where it comes from, you know that's what you're eating, and it's not mass produced in the horrible ways that they do that, swooping up every single thing from the ocean and letting it all die, let alone all the trash. I'm not going to go far into that, but so he did that, and I would eat that sometimes, and now I completely shifted where I won't even eat that, just because of more info I learned. If you want to do your own research, you can watch Theology. I highly recommend it. So I just don't touch any animal at all. So anyways, he grew up like that, and obviously I cook completely plant-based. If not, I would say 90% of my meals are vegan, with the choice of adding cheese to it or whatever you want. And it's really interesting because he would occasionally crave a burger or a good steak, and over the years, every now and again, he would have it, and or he My mom makes the best chicken salad. Not that I eat it anymore, but she really does. It's amazing, and I have the recipe. So occasionally I'll tell him, if you go buy the chicken, because my money is not going towards that, I will make it for you. So he'll eat that sometimes. But as the years have gone by and he's done that less and less and less, every time he does have it, he doesn't like it anymore. It's not as same, it doesn't taste good. The quality over the years, and if you're somebody that's in the older generation, you know extremely well that what you're eating now is not what was back then. The quality is not the same, the flavor's not the same. They are pumping everything with things that it's just bad. So fascinating little quick story. Obviously, he was craving a steak. We went to Asheville and we went and ate a fancy dinner at Biltmore Estate, and he ordered a $64 steak, and he was actually not happy with it at all. He said, I kind of wish I got what you got. I had this really delicious little vegetarian pesto thing. It was really good. And so he was disappointed then. He was craving a hamburger one time. He went to Texas with his cousin, and the burger was disgusting. So it was the worst thing he ever had. And even when he made one recently here by himself and made his own, got the ground meat and made it, grilled it, he was still not happy. And he's like, what the heck? It's just the quality of everything's changing. And the less you eat the meat, the more when you do eat it, you will see that it doesn't taste right. Now, I do want to touch on the idea of all these vegan meats. And I know they're extremely processed. It is definitely not necessarily better for you. Granted, you're getting the same texture, you're getting the protein, all of that, but is it better for you? Probably not. Let's be realistic here. I mean, it's man-made. And I will say, I'll admit, I buy it. I try to make meals that have it and meals that don't, and I switch back and forth and reduce the amount of it. Don't eat it every single day. I don't really recommend that. Do I go through stages of that personally? Yes. But really try to be mindful. And I do want to touch on, and this is going to be like edgy for everybody. Everything comes from the earth, right? Everything. Us, the animals, the plants, whatever you're eating is coming from the earth. And we are taking it from the earth, one way or the other. And no matter which option you choose, is it truly better for the earth to eat that way? There's pros and cons to both sides. There's the people that are producing soybeans and all that for all the processed meats. Think about the chemicals that they're putting on the plants to prevent bugs, and what's that doing to the ground, the earth, and the environment. Think about the animal aspect and the CO2. So truly, if you really want to go deep with it, whether you like it or not, somehow, some way, no matter what choice you make, affects our environment. The question is, which version affects the environment less? And that's what I always try to tell myself. Just like electric cars versus using regular cars. Those batteries for those electric cars are coming from the earth. Which one's better? Which one's doing more harm? Do your research and pick the option that is the best for you and for the environment as a whole. That's the true being of a yogic, is recognizing the oneness in everything and having love and compassion for every single thing that you eat, consume, do, and really being connected with that and how it makes you feel inside. So I know I kind of went off on a few little tangents there, and I hope this kind of helps you if you're trying to figure out, well, what should I do? I do yoga and I eat like this, and is that okay or not okay, or does it matter? Truly just tune into your body. You can even just meditate on it one day if you want, if you are really good with meditating, and just ask your own consciousness. I would say ask the universe, but you are the universe. You are your own universe. So just breathe with it. Don't overthink it. Don't allow the ego to get involved. Be mindful of everything you do. So yeah, that's the purpose of today's video. I know it's kind of a mess. I hope I got my point across somehow, some way. I'm not entirely sure. But if you enjoyed, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share. To anyone that has yoga eating questions or recipe thoughts or anything like that, share them in the comments below. I'd be happy to share some of my own favorites that I throw together sometimes. Yeah, so thank you so much for being here. Sending you all so much love, so much light. Namaste.